Okay, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Environmental Coffee House. I am thrilled tonight. I am so happy. Jennifer is back. I am Sandy Shellis, and Jennifer is with me. She is my wonderful, amazing co host. Jennifer, welcome. We've got Allison tonight, but I'm going to let you introduce Allison, and I'm going to kind of sit back and chill. Tonight, I've got the right clothes on. I am the doomer chick tonight. And thank you, Katie, for this shirt. She sent it to me. I don't think she's watching. I don't know. But cheers and welcome, everybody. All right.
It is so great to be here tonight, and thank you, Allison, for joining us. Guys, I want to introduce you to Allison Frank, and then we'll turn it over and give her a chance to talk. She has an amazing story to tell tonight. Very moving and pivotal, and I'm so glad she's with us. Allison and I started talking on the phone, I think, maybe even 2 years ago. She's a member of our collapse community. She's
Oh, yeah.
very collapse aware, and
Accepted.
she is a former resident of Asheville, North Carolina. And you guys know that Hurricane Helene ripped through Asheville, North Carolina with so much rain and flooding. So, very warm welcome, Allison. Thank you for coming to be with us tonight. Welcome to the show.
My pleasure. It's great to be with you.
Thank you for
Yes.
coming. So, Allison, start us out.
Okay. So let me just start off by saying, okay, I lived in Asheville 25 years, and I am now a climate refugee from the storm that hit on September 27th. Um,
Whoops.
so this
Uh-oh.
I'll get it back.
okay.
Sorry,
So the
my
storm,
fault.
the storm, as you know, okay, so this hurricane hit Florida, Helene, and then it ran up the middle of the country and hit Asheville. What I think people don't know is 3 days prior to that storm, the 24th, the 25th, and the 26th, we had torrential rain. We had, they said, 113 inches of rain in 3 days.
What?
And
That's
100, right, right. So it had been
insane.
a drought, and it's like it was just, so there were rain bombs, okay? Like and people aren't really talking about that part because the hurricane, it was a 75-mile-an-hour winds, and we've had windstorms before, but the storm and the prior um 3 days of rain contributed to this massive destruction.
Mm,
Um,
mm.
but the reason I think this is an important story, more than anything else, is that it was Asheville, North Carolina,
Mm.
because people that live there, we used to congratulate ourselves, not how smart we were to live there, but how lucky we were that we were in one of the safest climate places, at least on the East Coast. And everybody knew that, no hurricanes, no tornadoes, no earthquakes. It was safe. And, I'm not saying we were arrogant. We just were recognizing that this was a safe place. And so it also caught on 70,000 people in the past 4 years to Asheville because word got out
Wow.
that it was, this will, like, people are starting to become climate aware and they're moving to Asheville, right? So um, nothing happens in Asheville. Like, the fact that this happened this is the canary in the coal mine. This is the harbinger of, it's not like climate change is coming, we're in it. Because if you can destroy an entire region like this, a region that allegedly is safe, something really bad is going on.
Yeah.
So I grew up in Florida, and hurricanes. I've been through a lot of hurricanes. Hurricanes are storms. They're bad. They blow in, they hit land, they dissipate. These are not hurricanes. So I don't understand why there isn't a new description of what these storms are, but this is not this isn't like your typical hurricane. And you can go back to, I mean, Katrina was bad, but then there was Harvey in Texas where it just spun over the land and they got 54 inches of rain, in a, it just sat there. But this storm, there were tornadoes embedded in the storm. They said there were like, they don't know how many tornadoes, but there were 200-mile-an-hour tornadic winds inside this hurricane. And so it was a hurricane, it was a rain bomb, it was a tornado. I mean, when you look at the destruction, you can't absorb the magnitude of it. And like when the storm was over, like every other house on my street had a tree through the roof.
Ugh.
And so like, but we didn't know in the moment how bad it was, because the communication lines had been destroyed and we didn't know anything. And the city wasn't giving any information, and I don't think they knew anything. So there we were, and this hurricane hits, and the water goes off, the power goes off, the Wi-Fi goes off, like there's nothing. So the other thing I want to say here too is the minute that happens, here's the bad news. Your electronic community is not a community.
Right.
The minute this happens, like we are erroneously living through these electronic channels. And when this happened, you're instantly alone. There's no information.
Oh boy.
And so and there was no way to get information unless you had some kind of ham radio or something, which nobody's got that. All right, so
My brother does. He's seen the writing on the wall. He's now a ham radio operator.
yeah, and that's a good thing to have. But I have been talking to people for years about what I feel is really important, that we actually live in real communities. Like this is time now to do this.
Yeah.
And I can speak to this from experience now. This isn't some theory on a piece of paper. It's like when you're alone like this, it's terrifying. And nobody knew anything. And so we were all sitting in our cars, turning on our car radios, trying to get information because we didn't have cell phones. And that went on for days. There was nothing. So the water goes out, the power goes out, you can't communicate with anybody, and you have absolutely no idea. Like people were just in the street walking around like zombies, like what's going on. And then when you got in your car and you started drive, like you couldn't drive because like trees were down, like 7 or 8 trees in somebody's front yard would go down. So you couldn't drive anywhere. And the photographs, the mainstream, you couldn't even comprehend it, what really was going on. So yeah, so this was just, it was, and everybody was in shock.
Wow. Big
So
shock.
yeah, I mean, and it was like, and the information was like really trickling in. When's the water coming back? Nobody knows. The city wasn't telling anybody. They didn't know. But I ended up 4 days into it. I went to a friend's house, and she had power and water, and she had Wi-Fi. So we were watching videos of what was going on, and it was like whole sections of the city were gone,
Oh my God.
and whole cities are gone in the air. Like Swannanoa's was underwater, Black Mountain was gone, Chimney Rock was gone. I mean, these are like, this was a regional hit. It wasn't like Katrina where it was contained.
Right.
And so the storm, it, I don't think mainstream media is telling the truth about any of it. It's way too big. They don't want to talk about it. There's probably thousands of people dead, not 200. Lots of people just, they can't find them.
Oh my God.
And, and so like in one fell swoop, like everything got wiped out.
Oh my God.
So, and yeah. And so there's everybody's triggered. It's affecting everybody differently. So it's, you're driving around, you're looking at the destruction, you realize that this is like over there, like this isn't something that could get rebuilt. But the problem was the water and the power being gone. So as the days roll out, it's like maybe it'll be restored in 2 weeks, and I'm thinking, okay, 2 weeks, yeah, I could live with that. But you can't. And then it started coming out that it was going to be 2 months. Then it was like maybe 3 months for the
Oh,
water coming back. So um, then I started getting scared because I'm alone. Like everybody in my apartment building left. So here I am. I'm all alone, and I'm thinking, well, I was in shock, so I wasn't thinking. So there's a little creek down the street from my house. So I was going down with buckets, getting creek water to fill up my toilets, and we could get water at the store, but you can't waste your precious drinking water flushing your toilet, and you have to flush your toilet. Like I don't, I didn't know what else to do. I'm thinking I'm Little House on the Prairie, and I can do this, and I can make it through this. And the other thing they were not telling us, in their defense, maybe they did not know, but this is part of my story, is that all the groundwater then became contaminated.
right.
So they had built the sewage treatment plant in Asheville on the river. Not real smart.
Oh my God. So that sewage treatment went right into the river.
Right into the river.
Ugh.
So in all the streams, the creeks, the rivers, there was feces, there was chemicals, there were dead animals, there were dead humans.
Dead humans.
Well, I mean, there were
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
in floating around, but
Mm.
like
People
there
died.
people died and
Mm.
in the water. So the contamination was astronomical. And
This hurts. It
yeah,
does.
and so here's me, I don't know this, right? This is our nice little creek in our neighborhood. I live in one of the nicest areas in the city, nice little clean creek. I'm thinking, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I can get creek water. I'm strong. I can carry buckets of water. And then I realize I can't figure out how to wash my dishes because I could cook. I had gas stove, but like, how do you, like, I couldn't, like, nobody realizes how much water you use every day until this happens. You have no idea how much water you need. So instead of washing my dishes, I would cook, and then I'd throw the pans away. I just throw them in the garbage. It's like,
Oh
because
my
I
God.
couldn't clean. So things I started getting like really dysregulated. I mean, I knew I wasn't mentally okay, and I was alone. And then you couldn't call your friends because they were all going through the same thing.
Right.
And with different, like everybody had different problems, but we were triggering each other psychologically. Um, so I'm thinking, I it's okay to tell the truth here, right? I mean,
Oh, you bet. This is about truth here.
Yes. This is
Okay, I mean,
this is
it's a bad story. So I can't figure out anything. I'm alone. I'm like I got nothing. So I'm like I can kill myself because I didn't know what to do. I didn't have any resources. I didn't have any information, and I didn't. Okay, so the isolation, like when you lose your electronic community, like the minute it's gone, then you realize you're alone. And so, right about the same time, I'm thinking, yeah, I could kill myself. One of my friends called me up. She's in Florida. She's watching on TikTok. She's got information. She's calling me up and she's saying, they're saying that the water's contaminated. You got to get out of there.
oh my God.
And she said she didn't want to scare me, but she was very adamant. She goes, Allison, you got to leave. You got to leave. So I didn't have anywhere to go. So somebody in my neighborhood finally got Wi-Fi, and I went over there and I posted on Facebook, I need some place to go. And I got a hit, like somebody said, you can come to Atlanta. I didn't want to go to Atlanta. Somebody said you can come to Salt Lake City. I didn't want to go to a big city. I needed to go someplace where I could stay and start a life again, because I knew Asheville was absolutely decimated. Like it wasn't going to come back. I mean, by that point, we knew that it had done like $53 billion worth of damage.
How
Oh,
much damage
God.
specifically to your place, to your house? And
Well,
I
I mean,
wanted to say the background is your driveway, by the way. That was your
right.
driveway.
Oh, well, my house like got water damage, and it like water was coming through the walls. I mean, so what the terrible thing about that was it would have turned into mold. So you
Oh,
can't live
yeah.
like that either.
No.
Not at all.
Um, and there, and it was getting just a little too strange to be alone, like not have power. And I was running out of candles, and there weren't candles at the store, and there weren't batteries to buy, and
God.
there weren't lantern, like there was nothing. And it when my friend called, I said, oh, okay, I'm gonna go, I'll leave. So anyway, one of my friends had another friend in Woodstock, New York, and he offered me a room, and he said, I'm part of the Buddhist community and you'll be safe here and you can stay here. I want a roommate. And I talked to him, and I don't know, even right now, I don't know if any of the decisions I made were rational. I was just in
You're
survival
in
mode.
shock.
Hmm.
Yeah, I was
Well,
in
that's how
shock.
I
And
heard about what happened because Jennifer told me you were in Woodstock. And
right.
so we started now, you know, formulating to help you some kind of plan. Ugh.
Yeah, and so I thought that was a good idea, right? I mean, I could tell when I started telling my friends, I could tell they thought I was nuts. But I also lost my job. Like my the place I worked was under 5 feet of toxic mud.
Oh my God.
Were you
Okay,
was your house yours? It was a rental or was it an
no, no,
owned?
no,
It was your owner
no,
house,
no,
your own house.
no. It was an old, beautiful old house that had been turned into apartments.
Oh, okay. I gotcha.
And yeah, and so, now if I had owned it, like the people that
Wow.
own houses, that's part of the economic piece of this.
Okay. Okay. I'll
Okay.
okay.
But I could just leave. I mean, my landlord, the management company threatened me, and I started laughing. I was what are you going to get? I don't have anything.
Mm,
So so I made this plan to go to Woodstock. I put my clothes in the car. I put some blankets in the car and a pillow, and I left. I
Wow.
left my
just
furniture.
left.
I left my artwork.
Mm.
I left everything I owned. I left my books. I left, all my pots and pans. I mean, and um,
Well, things were going to
you know,
get full of mold and get
well, right,
ruined.
it wasn't going to matter. So, and all right, then in order to get out of Asheville, okay, so there were 140 landslides. And so the roads, the freeways coming into Asheville all collapsed. So
Oh,
I had to drive 2 days south in order to go north. So, so
so
I'm
you
driving
basically had
myself.
to kind of make this big loop to kind of get out of there.
What about the
Yep, I
other
had,
people that lived there
well, a lot of my friends,
in your
um,
place, in your house?
like, so in my apartment, all those people went home to their families.
Oh, okay.
Okay, everybody that could left. I didn't have that option. My
Okay.
family couldn't help me, and and this is when the community part really kicks in. You realize I'm going to have to depend
Mm.
on the trusting that the universe is going to give me something, that I can survive. So halfway through my trip to Woodstock, Hurricane Milton
No.
coming in to hit Florida, and my entire family lives in Florida.
Uh,
So I'm in a hotel room, in Pennsylvania watching the news, and the mayor of Tampa is saying, if you don't evacuate, you're going to die. And so all my family lives on the water. So I not only am I traumatized, but I'm thinking my family's going to die, right? Because they don't want to evacuate. So this trauma is like compounding. Um, so I get to New York, I get to Woodstock. It's beautiful. I'm happy. I meet my roommate. And as soon as I get there, turns out he's weird. I could tell immediately he wasn't okay.
so more
And
trauma on top of your trauma.
yeah, oh
Ugh.
yeah, yeah, I knew in 24 hours that
I
he
should have had you
wasn't.
come here right away.
Well, it's it's my grand adventure. I mean, I can drive back to your house now. I mean, I'm good at driving across the country. So, okay, but
Oh
4 days later, I faint in the bathroom,
my
and
God.
I think I'm having a panic attack. So the roommate, he gets mad at me because I'm sick, and he goes, "I'm taking you to the hospital," which was a good thing because that contaminated water from the creek was full of bacteria, and I got sepsis.
Oh my
So
God.
wait, the sepsis took a little bit to really actually make you sick. So you drove to New York, and were you feeling okay, or did you not know you were feeling okay, and you just thought all this stress and tension and anxiety made you sick?
Well, there was so much adrenaline in my system,
Okay.
and but I
Wow.
no. The answer to your question is I really didn't feel sick.
Okay.
I think, well, Jen, you're the scientist. I don't know how bugs grow, but it must have reached maximum capacity,
Yeah.
in that moment.
Mhm.
And so I get to the hospital, and they're like, "You're dying."
Oh my God.
Mm.
So, all right. So I was delirious. I had 104 temperature.
Dang.
Um, my blood
Jeez.
pressure plummeted. So anyway, I was in the hospital for 7 days with IVs in my arm, like pumping me full of antibiotics.
Just goes
And
from bad to worse.
Uh-huh.
no, no, I mean it's like it. I know the story's bad, but I'm just telling it. It's
Yeah.
just it's my story, and
Right.
I mean, the reason important to hear it isn't because it's so bad, but it's because you don't ever think it's going to happen to you.
Right.
Right.
You just don't think this is like, you don't think it's possible, really.
Do you have health insurance? I mean,
Yeah,
there's
oh, yes.
another. Okay, okay, because there's
Yep.
another whole clusterfuck of issues if you weren't able to have portable health insurance.
Thank
Oh my
God I have. I
God.
mean, yeah, I have.
Okay.
I haven't gotten the bill yet. I'm terrified. I'm
Mm.
terrified to see the bill. So I'm in the hospital, but I'm worried. Now I'm worried about the roommate. I'm more worried about the creepy roommate than I am about my health. And when I get home, he says to me, "You're a liability. I don't want you to live here."
Oh,
He didn't like it because I got sick.
This
oh,
is a
So,
real asshole. Don't tell me his
really?
name. Please don't.
well,
Oh
no,
God.
I wouldn't do that.
Because he's
I wouldn't.
gigantic
No.
gaping asshole.
Well, yeah. So then I pack up all my stuff, I put it back in my car, and I go to a hotel.
And you're lucky your car wasn't underwater, which we saw so many vehicles. And that's happening all over the world in all of these floods. The vehicles, where's all of that? Well, that's a whole other
Ugh.
show. Where are they all going to go? The junk.
Well, I mean, I was, I was lucky, like
Wow.
there's silver linings, I guess, in all. Like I'd taken really good care of my car. Nothing hit my car,
Mm-hmm.
and so then I go to a hotel, and that's when I
Is
called
that
you.
is that when we got caught up again?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I put out the SOS to Sandy because I knew she was connected and I knew you were in New York, and we all started trying to.
Yeah, and my worry was how could anybody want to live with me and 8 cats? Oh God, how silly.
Well, I mean, when you just need safe. Like this is when you just want to be safe.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
like, I'd been being chased around,
Yeah.
by a hurricane and, by a crazy man. And then then I was really homeless
Oh God.
because when I talked to you, it's like, then it hit me. I was like, oh, I'm homeless. And so again, I don't think I was rational, but like, I was like, well, I guess I could stay in Woodstock, but I don't know anybody. What I
Right.
was looking for community. I
Hmm.
knew that when I came off of this horrible experience that I was going to need support. I was
Yes.
going to need. I couldn't be in an apartment by myself.
No.
So you put out the SOS, and Sam came through, and people came through. But all right, so one of my clients saw this, and she offered me a house in Southern California. She goes, "You can go there and stay."
Oh wow.
So I knew I couldn't drive. Like I was still recovering from almost dying, and I was like, "How am I going to drive to California?"
Oh.
Um,
Oh man.
You have any pets?
so I don't.
Oh, that was a okay. That's a good thing because that's a whole. So many people lost pets or had to evacuate, and that makes it so much harder.
Well, I never would have left a pet.
No,
I would have stayed. I
no.
would have stayed with my dying breath for like any animal that I had. I would
You would
never
have
have
brought
done
your
that.
pet with you. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I would have. And
Mm. This is tough.
so then so, so I waited. I stayed in the hotel for 10 days because I wasn't well. Um, and so I was trying. So I was like, how am I? So then I was like, okay, I'm gonna drive to California. So I did that.
Yeah.
So it took me 7 days to drive to California, and now I'm in this sweet little cabin in the desert, and I'm safe, and I'm with some community, and I'm with people that I know. And
Wow.
now, um, I got to start healing because this was insane, and I don't even know if what I did was rational, and I'm not embarrassed to say that. Like, anybody has an opinion, you feel free to tell me, because
No,
I
I'm
think,
going to tell you, you don't come off as a victim, and you don't come off as poor me at all. You come off as a survivor and someone who's telling the story, but you certainly are not coming off as the poor me at all. At all.
well, I'm scrappy, so
We all are scrappy in this.
scrap.
We're all doomer chicks. We're all scrappy. We goddamn doomer chicks stick together, man.
And okay, and so through all of this, people were calling me up, and I think Jen, you did this too. It's like, this isn't an accident. Like, it happened to you. You're a doomer. You're going to have a voice. You need to talk about this. And
Mhm.
that really, I will tell you, having this doomer community actually was a anchor. It was like fuel, because I think it's important. Like, it happened to me, and I've been paying attention to climate change for 25 years. This this was not surprising.
Right.
It was not, and it's happening every day,
Every day.
every single like, there was just
Every
the
day.
recent bomb cyclone in the Pacific
Oh
Northwest.
yeah, Keith was talking about that in the chat. He said, I'm going to put it up. High winds, power outages, and tragedy in Washington. A bomb cyclone hit Bellevue, Washington on
Right,
November 19th, causing high winds, down trees, power outage. People have died. People
Mm,
are dying now. It's happening where
right.
people are dying, they're
mm,
dying.
mm, mm.
Yeah. Oh, wait. There's one. Oh, wait. I left this out. So in Ulster County, where Woodstock is, as
Yeah.
soon as I left, there were fires there.
Yes. Oh
So
yes.
if I had stayed there,
Oh, God.
I would have been in another. I would have been in another climate disaster.
Absolutely. There were fires in Westchester County near New York City. There were fires in New
Right.
York City, in the parks. We
Right.
lost a firefighter down there in Orange County, I think, or is it Rockland County in Greenwood Lake because of the drought situation here.
Yeah. So
Jesus.
this is important because we are in it. This is not conjecture anymore.
No, this is
And
not a drill.
it, it's happening every single day. And one of the things I've been trying to impart to my friends, I've gently been begging people to form actual communities. So now that I have your lovely audience, I will tell all of you listening to this, if anybody's interested and wants to actually put together a physical community, I'm all in, and we need to do it.
I'm working on it
Um,
here. We are definitely working on it here. And in fact, after I spoke to you today, I made two telephone calls, and I'm getting together with people with small little farms, and we are going to talk about our contingency plans. We have to.
Mm,
yeah,
mm.
yeah. This living alone shit, it's not going to cut it if you want to stay alive. And
No,
it's just the mainstream media. It's whatever is sensationalized is on the news today, and
Stupid
then
shit.
it moves on, and nothing really matters now except for climate mitigation. I mean, we're so far into this
No
thing.
adaptation to what's coming. We have
mm,
to adapt or we won't make it. And a lot of us won't make it. A lot of us won't make it. I mean, it's
Well,
just, it
well,
won't.
right, right. And so the other piece of this is the economic piece of this. Um, is so Asheville. Okay, I need to say this. I sent you the 2007 task force report from the city of Asheville. They said do not build on the river. And what Asheville wanted, the Asheville Chamber of Commerce wanted to make Asheville like Boulder. They wanted it to be the Boulder of the East, and they built in places that they were told absolutely do not build there. So this is called the River Arts District. They built hotels and restaurants and movie theaters and apartments, and the entire thing was underwater. And I went there one day, and the buildings looked like little matchsticks. I mean, the river ate the buildings,
Oh my
and it
God.
looked like little pieces
I've
of.
seen the videos, but I decided for this show I wasn't going to show the sensationalistic stuff because you're enough and we've all seen them. And if you follow extreme weather events around the world on Twitter, which I hope is moving to blue sky, and you follow Volcaholic, you see it. We all have seen it. We wanted to hear you. Wow.
You know what they're okay. So you know that that there's a email thread called Next Door. I think it's a national
Mhm. Yeah.
thing. I read, and I'm following all the Asheville Next Door stuff because that's where a lot of information is.
Hmm.
Um, they're so excited now about rebuilding the River Arts District. Everybody's getting together to rebuild this place where they were told not to build to begin with. Also, okay, so last week on November 14th, the city of Asheville announces that all the water is going to be, they're going to lift the boil water ban. You know what they did? They lowered the standards of safety
Oh,
for the water.
oh no.
Because you know why?
Money.
They
Tourist.
wanted tourists back for Thanksgiving.
Oh my God.
We are
So,
so fucked.
I
So
bet
fucked.
people
this
are
is
going to get sick because they're probably going to drink that or
Ugh,
bathe in it or something.
my
a
God.
lot of people. A lot of people are sick. I've heard a lot of stories,
Oh.
but this is okay. So this is the end stage capitalism part. Like Asheville, they haven't rebuilt their infrastructure. They haven't updated it since 1993. They focused all of their attention and money on bringing tourists to Asheville, and they successfully did that. And they built expensive hotels, and the price of housing skyrocketed. Um, but only 1% of people in Asheville had flood insurance. 1%.
Oh, so
1%.
everybody's wiped out.
Right. Who would know? I know. And here I am. I'm looking at it for flood insurance because I have a creek. But years ago, I was smart. When it overflowed, I lined the side of my house with sandbags, and they're still there, double high. And I have stuff growing over it because I know it could happen. I've already had a flooded basement. I've already had a tornado hit me that
Oh,
decimated all my old growth trees. Everybody knows about that story ad nauseum. It was traumatic. I'm always worried. I have a safe spot in my basement now. Whenever we get those storm warnings, I have a place with cat carries and a helmet. Motorcycle helmets make great safe space additions, by the way. Hmm.
oh.
Well, I mean, we're going to need that. But the power community is not giving up on on trying. Like they want their money back. Um they don't care. They are telling people, they're evicting people now because they can't pay their rent. There's no jobs.
Unreal.
They're
People that
telling
still
people,
have places to live and they're being evicted after this, and there's no help
yeah,
from the government at all.
no. And the Duke Power, there was no power for like 3 weeks, but they're still charging people for those 3 weeks that there was no power. And they're saying that it wasn't their fault that there was a hurricane. So they're just charging people.
Oh my
Um,
God.
I
so,
had a
so the,
question. All right, go ahead.
what?
No, I was looking for a question somebody asked about, um, FEMA and what they might have been providing, and we have a guest tonight, a chatter, Jackie Wolfheinel, who is with
Oh
the
yeah.
Red Cross. She's with the Red Cross. She's been deployed. She knows all about this. In fact, she was deployed for this. So, what is there? What was there?
Well, all I know is FEMA was giving out $750 per person. That's all I know. I never could get on the website. The website kept crashing when I got on it. So
And
I never.
$750. I mean, what
Yeah,
is
but
that
that
going
was
to
only
do?
supposed to be the one-time emergency. I know that there's more. Jackie could tell us probably in the chat, but damn, I should give her the the link. But she knows. She's been deployed to all these disasters for years. I give her a lot of credit for what she's done. For Jackie, what she's done.
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, everybody. Well, okay, the FEMA story.
Hmm.
I never saw FEMA. Okay, so now this is a true story. The militia, the whoever they are, they came at FEMA with AK-47s. They threatened FEMA because they said they were part of the deep state.
I know the sick people. Yep.
Yes, so FEMA left.
That was one of my things, working with a bunch of scientists that got together that I've been with for a while now, trying to counter misinformation and disinformation, but it is almost impossible. It has infected the brains of Americans.
Right,
Oh my
right.
God.
Yeah, so there so this the city wasn't using there's no kindness here. There was no the churches set up shower stations, and you could go get free food from churches. And but I didn't see I
God.
didn't see any government help. I didn't see the National Guard. I didn't see anything.
Wow. But how long did you stick around?
I was there about 16 days. And that's when my friend called and said, you got to get out of there. If I had stayed in Asheville and gotten sepsis in Asheville, I would have died because the
Oh,
hospitals weren't
Oh my
functioning.
no.
God.
Listen, Jackie just had a comment. $1 million homes are built on 30% slopes with roads that can't handle fire trucks. Thousands of them. Look out, fires. Next, too much kindling on the ground now. Jackie, we love you. I got to have you back on to talk about this.
So you know the city the city their priorities are just money. They don't care about people. And also there's one other part of this. I mean, there's so there's I'm just telling you the broad strokes.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Now there's a problem that the a lot of the older homes, before built before 1988, are all lead pipes. Now,
Hmm.
now people are getting lead poisoning. The water is sitting in the pipes too long, and if they sit for more than 4 hours and you drink it, you're getting sick.
Oh.
So that's verifiable. A chemistry professor from UNC Asheville just wrote an article this week in the Mountain Express, which is the weekly magazine, that like this is a problem now too.
Yeah.
So the area,
Ugh.
my friends that own houses, they don't know what to do because nobody has a job now.
Right.
Can't pay your mortgage. and then you can't pay your mortgage, then the banks are going to fail.
So what's happening to you? You walked away and you're leaving everything in limbo. You've got to be, it can't be easy now to worry about this, what you left behind.
Well, my friends are there, you know.
Yeah, but you have a
Um,
mortgage, you have, expenses.
no,
Oh,
I don't have a
wow.
mortgage.
You are
No.
one
Yeah,
lucky son
that
of a
probably
gun.
saved you in a certain
Holy
way.
shit.
Can
Wow.
you
Yeah,
imagine? That was your
No.
house?
Wow.
no, like, I mean, I hope she's not watching, but I mean, I have a friend that owned a company and she's driving an Amazon truck. Like like all the gig workers, it's just a tourist economy in Asheville. You know, the restaurant workers, the retail, they left. You know, there isn't anybody to run the businesses.
No,
And
still.
um
Well, I did
yeah.
see that they got water. What, today? I think it was today. And there are many people in the chat that are from North Carolina. Oliver Banks, Strega K, and maybe a couple of others. So I want to shout out to you guys too. And Oliver, I know Oliver is a lovely person and has from the beginning was communicating with me on Facebook. So there's a lot of people that have suffered, but are survivors like you that did what they had to do and not victims. Because the victim mentality, you definitely, if you're a victim, you die. You don't make it.
Well, I like I said, I was fueled by this invisible doomer force that sounds really crazy, but I want to stay alive.
Yeah.
I want to see what's going to happen. I mean, I've been talking about this for so long, and I have always my friends have like, you're negative, you're a doomer, and I mean, it always
We are not negative. We are
We're
not
realists.
negative. Yeah, but you can't even use the word realist because that's been hijacked by the Heartland Institute. We have
Oh,
and if you say we're truth sayers, then that's been hijacked by another group of whack jobs. We are just the people that tell it like it is, man, like the 60s. We tell it like it is. We don't sugarcoat jack shit. That's it. We don't sugarcoat it.
well, we don't have to now because
No.
it's right in front of your face. Like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry it's happening. I'm sorry that we were right. I'm sorry that we shit all over the planet. But hey, that's real. That's the reality that we're dealing with. So it's wonderful to have a community where you can talk about this. I'm grateful for you for having a platform that people can feel comfortable and safe and share their stories because we are going to need community, and
Yeah.
this is where it's going to start, is here.
mm, it's
So,
just
all right.
fascinating.
So we have a comment about FEMA. Was it true that people were actually threatening FEMA because
Yes.
of the shit that they've been brainwashed hearing? And then the woman that lost her job because she instructed people in Florida, I think it was, not to go to the houses with certain political signs because of being threatened. Tell us about that if you know anything about that.
Well, I can't validate what happened in
All
Florida,
right.
but I can tell you that. So when I was at my friend's house for 2 days, like,
Uh-huh.
she was offering all of her friends showers. So people were coming over in droves to, like, nobody had had a shower for a week. And one of the people that showed up actually was face to face with the militia guys walking around with the AK-47s. He
Okay.
actually saw them. So I was like 2 degrees of separation from somebody that experienced that the FEMA people were being run out of town by these
Hmm.
brainwashed militia dudes.
All right, let me ask Oliver out there. Oliver, you're still here. What have you seen, Oliver? and he will answer, and we will put that up on the screen. Because that's, and then there's other people who are saying that FEMA's horrible and they're the antichrist, they're the devils. And if Jackie or Oliver has a comment, please, please. Jackie said, okay, wait, it'll come up. My team was waived off many properties. It was weird. So I guess there's some truth somewhere in the middle, but I think people felt threatened.
Yeah.
I think that's what happened. Wow.
And was this Hurricane Helene in September?
Yeah.
So it hit Florida. It hit Florida first, and like I said, we're like they usually just they dissipate, and it gained power instead of its normal behavior. It gained strength as it was heading towards Asheville.
Yeah, it started the 27th.
And then hit us the 27th. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, so I've been moving since I've been like a shark since September 27th.
Oh my God. So 2 months of trauma just day
Yeah.
after day.
So
Yep.
how do you feel that from now on you're going to be able to manage, and but first I want to put Oliver's up, because Oliver, I think FEMA was in Brevard, but you never left the mountain. Interesting, Oliver. Interesting. Okay, so let's get back to you. What and where do you see yourself and acclimating to the future, and give us what you told me. Tell us what you think is really going to be the real thing, the issue.
Which thing did I tell? What are you referring to? Like, you mean the fact that it's happening every day, that climate change is we can't. That's why I started it off by saying, because it happened in Asheville, we're in trouble. We're and Jen, you sent me that article about the different places that were allegedly safe to live. But I don't think you can do that anymore. I don't think those
Nowhere.
prediction I don't I'm not a scientist, so I don't know how they make
Right.
those predictions. But yeah,
All
this
right.
this is shocking because of the geography.
4 hours ago, FEMA officials confirmed 14 homes have been delivered to Helene victims in North Carolina during a press briefing. 14. Okay.
Oh
Four,
boy. Yeah.
14.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Yeah, we are
14.
our country is woefully not prepared. They want to build cop cities in all these cities for more militaristic police, instead of making those installations training for disasters, and having people like Nicholas Humphrey be part of that movement, because we don't need more cops, we need disaster management, because it's coming heavy and hot. So yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, and it's not a priority. And then that guy that they just nominated to be the energy secretary got on TV and said climate change is a house.
Oh
Wait a
my God.
minute, the
We're
energy
so touched.
secretary? Okay, not the
Yeah,
EPA guy, Lee ass licking Tony Zeldin.
I,
Jesus.
I don't remember his name. I remember, but I saw the press
Yeah, we don't
conference,
need the names. They're all assholes. Yeah.
and it's terrifying. It's absolute, like they don't care about us. We're gonna have to do this ourselves. We're gonna have to,
Oh,
figure it out.
look at this. FEMA also said that 1,000 people have declined to receive housing assistance, highlighting that their reasons for doing so they vary and are situational. So there's a lot to this story that I'm sure that some very good investigative journalists that are not with mainstream media will be bringing out.
I hope so.
Yeah, I hope
There's
so
a
too.
lot. There's a lot to unpack, and I only know my own little corner of it, because even though I'm a news junkie, I was kind of scrambling to stay alive. So, I I missed some important facts in there too.
Mm. What do you
Uh,
have to say to people that are still there and your friends
Oh,
and your community that are still
in
there?
Asheville?
Hmm.
Well, I mean, I my heart goes out to them, and I know that they're doing everything. Like, I know that community has come together in Asheville, and I know that it is a there's good things that are happening there, because this does bring people together. And this, it's kind of like after, the World Trade Center got bombed. This was like people come together and help each other. So that is going on, and my friends, I wish them the best, and I think some will stay, and some are definitely making plans to leave.
You think you'll ever go back? I mean,
Me,
you
no.
have a home still there. So what will happen to your place, your property, your belongings? They're destroyed?
I I no, this is what I donated. I left a key with my neighbor, and I donated all my furniture and all my clothes and all my books to anybody that needed it. I gave them carte blanche to go into my house and take whatever they wanted.
Wow.
wow. Oh
So
my
what
God.
about insurance for you?
I got $500 because of what was in my refrigerator. That's my insurance. That's what I
From
got.
your homeowner's insurance. But there's
Oh,
nothing, no coverage for, the loss and damage of your structure or anything like that's got
No,
to
no,
be,
no, no,
I
no,
mean,
no. I'm a renter. I'm a renter.
oh, it's not your house that you own.
It's,
It was a
no, no,
house
no.
so the house I got the picture of is an apartment and you don't own.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, I'm sorry. I was
yeah,
confused. So then it's a lot easier for you to walk away.
yeah.
Oh,
I just.
shit.
Oh,
I'm so sorry. This whole time I thought you owned a place and you left your home and you had
well,
no
I did.
mortgage. Okay.
Well, I mean, I did leave my home,
Right.
and
Right.
but I mean, it was easier. The property management company is calling me up, threatening me. It's hilarious.
Gotcha. I
You know,
gotcha. Oh, God. So the people that own homes are there because they still have a stake in the
they
community
do.
because
They do.
they own. And all right, so now I understand. Did people have
Yeah.
renters insurance there? Did anybody have
Yeah.
renters and people have renters
Well, I
insurance?
mean, I did, and and my friends with houses. I mean, people are, the, people are trying to rebuild. They're trying to rebuild their lives. I just didn't see a path for myself to do that.
yeah.
And
Right.
it is because I was alone.
Yeah.
And being alone
Hmm.
in this situation was was too much for me. It was too much. I mean, nobody could help me because nobody could help themselves. So, like, if you break your leg, you call your friend up and say, "Can you drive me to the hospital?" But nobody was,
Right.
you know, everybody was trying to, like, mitigate the damage. And so, and nobody was emotionally okay. And to this, people are still, I talk to people in Nashville every day, and it's hard. It's really hard.
Karen says being a renter, and Karen Perry, our wonderful love, Karen Perry,
Yes.
collapse acceptance. Being a renter is an advantage in collapse, gives you more options to leapfrog, as Allison has described. Mwah,
Mhm.
Karen. Mwah. We love you. She's such Karen is
Yeah.
such a wonderful help to so many.
Yes. And she is.
Tell us about Allison. Tell us about your support in the Doomosphere. about with the Safe Circle calls?
Okay, so Dean Walker is leads these magnificent groups, um, and it's collapse focused, but it's like a heart centered thing. It's how to adapt and how to grieve through the process.
Hmm.
So I've been through a couple groups with him. One they focused on Joanna Macy's
Yes.
book about how to go through this and adapt as your way through it, and to
Hmm.
be open about grieving. And now I just rejoined another one of his groups. I think it's called Madness Islands of
I love
Sanity,
sanity.
World
Yeah.
of Madness.
Yeah. Good.
Because I need emotional support. I need to be able to talk to people that like aren't going to say you're negative, stop talking. This is the polar opposite of it, where you can talk about how you feel.
Did you know that Trump vows to end all hurricanes his first day in office? I really didn't want to say that name for 4 years, but you wrote the comment, Amazon Mirage. I had to say it. I'm
Uh,
going to say the orange man or the orange blob.
hmm
uh, we have to be able to keep a little bit of sense of humor, and I'm telling you, I am becoming my own onion here. I'm making goofy onion videos because things are so insane,
Oh,
opposite world. So, Jennifer, do you have
yeah.
something? Because we're almost an hour, and I do want to not take, the whole. I really want to keep it, so I want you both to talk,
Yeah.
end
And
it.
Allison, what are you doing now? Are you looking for a job in California? Are you trying to reestablish yourself there? Or what is your plan
Hmm.
now?
So it honestly, okay, so 2 nights ago was the first night I slept through the
Oh,
night.
Oh,
Okay. So I just want I also want to be completely honest. So um I went to a therapist today.
oh, there's nothing. That's
Like,
fine. What's wrong with that?
well,
I
I
went
mean,
for
I
10 years.
I wanted to check in. Like, I don't know if I'm okay.
Hmm.
Um, so I think, to answer your question, yes, I'm going to try and establish myself. I think I'm okay. I'm not 100%. I got a lot of healing that I have to, like, I almost died. Like, I still haven't recovered from that. But I'm booking clients again. So
Okay.
that,
Okay, that's
that,
good.
that makes me feel good. And I, I don't, I have to do this one day at a time. This isn't a normal, well, I've never been through anything like this. So I don't know. Like, every day I get up and I feel like, if I feel okay, I'll do stuff. Some days I don't feel okay.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know.
And if people wanted to book a session for you to help you, just have a session with you, how can they get hold of you? Facebook? Is that the best way to reach out?
Can
Well,
I
I
put
mean,
a
I'm
link in the
Allison
show
Frank on
notes?
Facebook, and I'm also Asheville Oracle on Facebook.
So
Okay.
you give me this show. I'll put it in the show notes. So if anybody wants to contact you, that's great.
That would be great.
All right,
Yeah, I
you
mean,
send me those
you
links.
know, yeah. I just, I here's a cautionary warning, though. Like, things are going to show up in the cards. Like, this is, like, I can't sugarcoat like what's coming. this, we're gonna have to like buckle down and like deal with this,
Yes,
Yeah.
and and have some joy, and
yes.
enjoy our lives, and and wiggle our way through the future.
Oh, yeah.
Wiggle, wiggle our way, wiggle our way. All right, I need to say thank you because there's some lovely people that are. Thank you, Chaz, for the the super chat. And Nadia, thank you. Fires in Manhattan, Brooklyn, both. It's scary. She lives in Manhattan. Uh, Thank you, Nadia. Again, Christofascists say natural disasters are signs of the end times. Berserk vigilantism against people deemed satanic. Example, LGBT, Sikhs, Muslims, etc. And it hurts. Meh. Well, my cats are going to love you, Nadia. Did you see vigilantes attacking minorities? Did you see any of that happening where you live, Allison?
Um, no,
Okay.
but but I didn't venture far from my house.
Okay. Okay. And then Nadia, one more. Everyone tells me to stop talking because I'm negative. Ha! Right. Okay. Well, sorry, but we don't really have. I mean, I look every week when I'm doing a show and I try to, I plan my Tuesday show. I'm looking for the positive news that's in the realm of the doomosphere or climate crisis. It's not easy to find positive. The local stories are positive. Like today I found a story in Buffalo. There is an organization that is set up to help feed people's pets that don't have enough money to afford their animal food because everything's so expensive. So I mean there's really, wonderful things. And Cindy Seeley, I want to just thank you for coming. I know where you live. She lives down there too. It's great to see you. She's going to wiggle her way back to bed, and it's wonderful to see you, Cindy. Thank you so much for coming, really. And thank you, everybody, for the support because it goes to my rescue here. And Amazon Mirage says if it's positive, it's not doom. Well, I haven't figured that one out yet. I mean, when you talk about planting millions of trees, it's still because of doom, but you're planting millions of trees, but they have to live. And I go to the supermarket, I buy tissues, and what's on the Wegmans tissue box? We have planted millions of trees. Well, what's the follow up? So I'm not a nihilist, and you guys know me. I'm just not full of hopium anyway. Right, Alice? I mean, we know the big picture. Jennifer and I have been doing shows for years talking about all this.
Yeah. And you've been knowing about climate change and all this, extreme weather events for years, and we still think it's never going to happen to us, but
It
then
happened
it
to me. It
does.
happened to me in 2017, so I know.
Yeah.
Karen Perry, great collapse reality check. Thank you, gals, for the honest truth bombs. We have to, let's, yay. Thank you. Yay! Yeah. I actually was trying to find a bomb. I have all these sound effects. Who knows where they are? Allison, would you like to give us some parting words?
Sure. I am grateful for this community. It is when I found you, Environmental Coffee House, I felt like I came home.
Wow.
And well, I mean, I've been banging the gong by myself for a long time, and I was just so thrilled that this existed. I didn't know it existed. And I think that this is extremely important to keep this going and keep it alive and just to have some place where people can come and flesh out ideas, when things happen, because, I am not going to be the only one that has this happen to them. But again, the other thing I want to say, just to reiterate, is I'm serious. If anybody wants to put together a community, I think we should start doing that. Thinking like seriously, it would be a lot more fun to be together and work through something like this with a bunch of other people and
Right. And
have somebody
remember,
put
but
their arms
remember,
around you,
Environmental
scared.
Coffee House is online and you have to do it in your community. And that
Yeah.
is what I'm starting with the people that I have. And one of them is probably still in the chat. I hope Luann and my neighbors with their little farm. And, that's what we have to do. I'm alone too. And I'm one of those
Mhm.
very
And I
overly
agree.
security minded semi preppers. So I feel like, and I'm out there with my name out there. Hi Luann, she's still there. My name is out there. So I have to think security because there's a lot of freaks and I live in a very red area. Not that I'm afraid of any of my neighbors really, but you just don't know. You just don't know. So you have to be security minded as female doomer women. We have to be
Mm,
security minded. Yeah.
yeah. Well, Allison, this has just been pivotal, and I want to thank you for coming on and sharing your story with us and just telling us all about it. Everybody here who is either watching this in the future or watching this right now can totally relate and understand to this. And I think it's very important to tell these stories
Yeah.
and share it.
Thank you. And I want to say thank you to the moderators tonight, Jean, Kim, and Looney Tunes. Without you, we wouldn't be what we are either. The moderators rock.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, exactly. And Jean said, what did Jean say? That's right. It doesn't matter. Just security minded. It doesn't matter who they are. I have plenty of friends that are of all persuasions because we don't talk politics. We talk survival. We talk gardening. We talk growing. We talk prepping. We talk security. I mean, that's the way it is here. We're all in the boat together. And truthfully, a lot of people, because they're farmers, they know. They understand what's happening. So it's not like, it's not like that here. We don't segregate each other on lines, political lines, which is great, actually. Yeah. All right, Allison, give us the parting shot here.
Much love. Take care of
Much love.
yourselves.
Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you so
Namaste.
much.
Yes, there's a
Thanks
lot
for
of
having
love
me.
here. There's a lot of love here. Well, we're going to end with our end of the world video, which I'm going to set up because I think it's kind of appropriate. All right. That's what we're going to end with. Good night, Jennifer. We will
Good
be
night.
we will be back for the end the state of the planet with the regular team. Allison, come back. It was great. Okay? And
I'd
everybody
love.
out there, thank you for coming, thank you for helping, and thank you for loving. There we go.
I hear the asteroids flying by. So this could be your last goodbye. No time to worry anymore. It may not be alright for sure. This is the end of the world. This is the end of the world. We watch the satellites explode.